99 FM, welcome to our Royal Hustler for this morning. And I was telling you earlier, I'm very much looking forward to today's interview because we have Charles Moore, who is the British High Commissioner designated to the Republic of Namibia. He is a career diplomat, having joined HM Diplomatic Service in 1982, serving in overseas posting and also in African postings as well. He's been to Zimbabwe, to Oman, to Botswana, to Indonesia, to Switzerland, to Ghana, Trinidad and Tobago, and South Sudan, just to name a few. He's also served as a parliamentary clerk and has worked on diverse issues including Hong Kong, resource management, national security, and the Korean Peninsula. And he joins us now in studio just to give us a little background of himself and his very illustrious career. Hi, Commissioner, welcome to 99 FM.
Thank you for having me.
No, very much looking forward, me personally, because of a childhood dream of mine, which I'll tell you about a little later on in the interview.
Firstly, those are a lot of varies.
Like I said,
and thank you very much for the introduction. I appreciate it. I'm just as traveled.
Yeah.
I've seen many parts of the world too, in my dreams.
As much as the High Commissioner has.
As much as he has. So, Commissioner, let's start. Could you perhaps tell us a bit about yourself, where you're born, how you're raised, and all of those nice things as well?
Sure. Born in London,
okay.
I spent a lot of my early life in Nigeria, so I grew up in Nigeria. My father was there working commercially, so many years in Nigeria, but I was at school in Kent, and joined the Foreign Service actually straight from school, which you could do in those days, and never really looked back. I mean, it's been a career that is so fascinating that there's nothing else I've really wanted to do. Of course, when I was young, I had dreams of being a vet, but then I turned out to be rubbish at biology. But I knew I wanted to travel, and I think being in Africa in my early years gave me that love of the continent, and also the desire to do something which meant that I could travel the world rather than sit in London.
Yeah.
And be a vet.
And be a vet, a bad vet.
Speaking of being a vet, one of my childhood dreams was, like I said, I'm very excited to have you because I actually wanted to be a diplomat. I wanted a job that made a difference in people's lives and also hashtag paid me to travel. But then I took a political science class and I was like, oh, so much sitting and so much, paperwork. Oh, I don't know, this is not me. But as for you, apart from being a vet, what was your biggest dream when you were growing up?
It was really the travel. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I think I wanted at one stage I wanted to join the Navy.
Yeah.
But the first time I went on the cross-channel ferry, I got seasick, and I thought that wasn't a good career choice. Fencing. I was keen on fencing when I was at school, and so I had dreams of doing that. And in fact, I carried on fencing. I started training with the British Olympic team, but then got interrupted because of my first posting to Zimbabwe.
Okay.
So that career ended as well. But it was just something about travel. I needed to do something with travel, to see different places, to meet different people.
As well.
Now, in the introduction, Sibo did touch a lot on the areas that, or the countries that you've been and areas that you've worked at. Give us a brief background of your career and the journey that led you to coming to Namibia 3 months ago.
Okay. I mean, it's really been a fascinating career where I've done, as you said, I've done 5 African posts. This is my 5th African posting.
Okay.
I've done 5 Commonwealth countries as well, so I'm very keen on Commonwealth issues. It's been really diverse. Nowadays, you don't get to choose necessarily where you go. You have to bid for it. It's a very competitive process. And Namibia has been on my list. In fact, I bid for the job for the last 3 times, and so I'm delighted now to get this. Because it's just been an ambition of mine, certainly for the last decade, to come to Namibia. And in some ways, I can't really explain it. I mean, I've had 25 years or so in Africa. I have just such a huge love and respect for the continent. It's so diverse.
Very.
And Namibia was on my list, especially having served in Botswana and Zimbabwe before as well. This was the place that I wanted to come, and it's just delightful to be here.
Yeah. Like you said, 25 years in the continent. What keeps you daily motivated to still keep on going?
Well, it's really learning something new, I think.
Yeah.
Because every day there's something new to learn, and if you're in a different country to your own, there's just so much to learn and absorb.
Yeah.
but it's not just about the nice stuff. It's about understanding properly the people and the culture. To learn different languages. I speak Indonesian. I speak French from having served in those sort of areas. But just there are so many issues to learn, and you can see. You know, I've seen obscene wealth, and I've seen obscene poverty, and I've seen everything in between, and it's life. You know, it's stuff that you can't necessarily experience from reading about it. But visiting villages, going up, you know, for example, going up north to Oshikango, for example, you see the big difference in between Windhoek and other places.
Yeah.
Now, Sibo did touch a bit on how she had dreams and aspirations of being a diplomat. Your dreams are valid, my sister. You can still. It's not late. Like you.
Maybe the diplomat needs like a PA to the PA or the assistant of the PA. Yeah.
You're a very diplomatic person.
Just talk to us, Commissioner, talk to us about working as a diplomat, and of course, you being in the position where you are right now as the High Commissioner. What does all of that mean?
Do you know, it's a real privilege, I think, in any sphere to represent your country, and to represent it abroad is a real true privilege. Getting to understand the different cultures is so important. So getting underneath the skin of a place. You know, diplomacy is often done a lot in the background. It's not sort of really often high profile work. Diplomats do things, you know, in corridors and have consultations with people. I think the definition of diplomacy, one definition of diplomacy I heard was that it's the art of allowing other people to have your way.
Ah, I love that.
Which is quite a good definition, actually. We often don't shout about what we do, but it's about engaging with other governments, understanding the country, the people, the cultures, and trying to align ourselves with the values and make progress on really key issues that affect us all.
You're quite familiar with Southern Africa, as you know, with your posting in Botswana and with Zimbabwe, and you even talked about, you know, going up to Oshikango in Namibia. And I know you've, like you mentioned on air, off air rather, you've only been here for 3 months. So what has been your impressions so far of the country, or the people, even the beautiful landscape that we have?
I mean, yeah, stunningly beautiful. There's sort of two words that can describe Namibia for me in the first 3 months. And you know, don't forget, I came here. My last posting was in South Sudan,
yes.
which is just the opposite end of many scales that you can think of. You know, a very desperate situation there. But coming from there to here, where you have you know, a beautifully clean city, you have peace and stability, you have a lot of harmony. Yes, there are problems, and every country has problems, but the beautiful landscapes. Yes, nobody's been able to stop me going out and about as much as possible. I've been going somewhere every weekend, and you know, I've been down to Sossusvlei, I've been to Oshikango, Walvisbay, Swakopmund, Etosha, Waterberg. You know, I can't get enough of going out to see so many different. And you know, every time you're driving along the roads, and every time you turn a corner, there's a huge new horizon to see.
Yes.
It's simply a stunningly beautiful country. And it's a privilege to be here to see that. But also, you know, the people are so nice, and I'm not just saying that because I'm speaking to you, because I'm speaking to very nice people. But you know, everybody has been so welcoming, from the president, the government, people in the tourism sector. You know, it's just delightful.
Now, we with your work. Could you perhaps give us a brief insight into the UK's work as well as priority areas in Namibia?
Well, you know, we have a lot of common interests with Namibia, the UK and Namibia. I mean, we're Commonwealth partners. Well, English is the national language. We have a lot of values in common, and we also have a lot of you know, issues and problems in common.
Right.
You know, there are issues like gender-based violence,
Yes.
corruption, gender equality, media freedom, climate change. These sort of issues, they're not African issues or Namibian issues. They're global issues, and The UK suffers from corruption. The UK suffers from gender-based violence. The UK isn't as advanced as it should be yet on gender equality. All of these issues, so we can talk about them at a governmental level, and we can help each other. So, you know, being a partner with Namibia is really important to address some of these issues. Wealth equality, you know, that's, I know, is a key issue in Namibia. And so trying to work with the Namibian government to see how we can work together on these issues. We can learn from Namibia in some areas. Media freedom, for example. Namibia is far more advanced on media freedom than the UK is. So we can learn from you just as much as we can share with you. And you know, being a developed country, the UK has often done things over many years and made all the mistakes on the journey, whereas we can advise you as how to avoid those mistakes. So hopefully, you know, that sort of cooperation will be really helpful.
Yeah. Earlier in the conversation, you gave us such a beautiful definition of what diplomacy means. And so, with that in mind, what are your hopes, you know, for the future relations between Namibia and the UK?
Yeah. Well, you know, so much of diplomacy is about talking. It's about understanding and being open and clear and honest and friendly, engaging very, very openly on the issues that need to be addressed. So, you know, I'm hoping that we already have a very warm relationship with Namibia, and that's something I'm hugely grateful for. So I'm hoping that we can be a real sort of partner of choice for Namibia on things like trade. I want to enhance our trade relationship with Namibia, which will benefit us both. I want to see if we can help address issues like poverty and wealth inequality. Obviously, we've all got to come out of COVID first, and the UK restrictions on COVID are still very tight, so we can't yet have visitors, unfortunately, including tourists, to Namibia, which I know is a big part of the Namibian economy. So, coming out of COVID, having economic recovery, looking towards the future, you know, I want the UK to be a partner for Namibia on that journey, which will benefit us both. And yeah, I've got no doubt at the moment, having been here for 3 months, that is going to be that we do have a true friendship and a true engagement that is benefiting us both.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Well, that's my pleasure.
We really look forward to having you for the next
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just chipped up the iceberg with the 3 months.
Oh.
We have more places to show you, I promise.
Yeah, that's kind. No, thank you for having me.
And that was Charles Moore, British High Commissioner designated to the Republic of Namibia. We're building relations between Namibia and the UK.